My name is Rana Nasaka. I'm from German Aerospace Center, Project Management Agency, and I will present you today the question of social sciences and humanities in regard to raw materials. And I will focus in my presentation mainly on the principles. Therefore, I would like to start with a small statement for the next work program, because this is not so in-depth elaborated at the moment in the principles. In our view, raw materials has a lot to do with questions of poverty, questions of vulnerability in societies, and especially in regard to third world countries where raw materials are mined. The question of migration is connected with this, and this isn't at the moment in the principles, but I would suggest to take that also as an input for the next work programs. And we can, if you want, later discuss about that. For the moment, in my presentation, I will just start with the main principles. And the point is that social sciences is a cross-cutting issue, and it should be embedded. It's connected with the notion of embedding, and this is what I will present you for today. Okay, so the cross-cutting issues in Horizon 2020 are social sciences and humanities. We have others like science with and for society, gender, fast track to innovation with SMEs, widening participation, international cooperation, bridging the gap between research and innovation and the market. And we have also cross-cutting support measures and instruments. Embedding is a central notion in Horizon 2020, and the aim is to connect not only disciplines, but to have a broader view on issues, not only from the production side and the market side, but also what is wished in society, what do we want to have as policies, how should this, the societies, the European societies, develop into innovative societies, and so on. This was already written in the Horizon 2020 regulations. It's written: social sciences and humanities research will be fully integrated into each of the general objectives of Horizon 2020. What is the political idea behind that? The political idea behind is we need the social sciences to understand ourselves, our societies, and the challenges we face. We need them to guide politicians and policymakers and to inform public opinion. So where are we? We have in Horizon 2020 3 pillars. You all know them probably. I'm myself, like you too, we are working in Pillar 3 with the societal challenges, and I myself, I'm in Europe in a changing world, inclusive, innovative and reflective society. This is the challenge 6, and the challenge 5 is climate, environment, resource efficiency, raw materials. And we have now to integrate our aspects, not afterwards, but already during the process, when you're looking at productions, producing, mining, what should be done, what is needful for the society, what could be sustainable, how could we prevent new poverties, new social challenges, which should be thought at the beginning and which should be integrated already at the beginning. So what are our themes in SSH? We have themes like behavior, consumption and lifestyles, management and governance aspects, public perception and public acceptance, policy development, measures to assist policy decisions, social innovation, evaluation and development of markets and business areas, and economic systems and instruments. As I told you, these are the general principles, and this is not enough. We have, at the moment, specific challenges. As you know, we have a lot of refugees who are coming from parts of the world who have different problems, and one of them are also caused by problems of raw materials, which causes new streams of migration, and which could be then also thought for the next work program, as I told before. Please don't confuse these kind of principles with other notions, like, for instance, co-creation, responsible research and innovation, or social innovation, because they might be, in some cases, some specific cases, part of the theme of embedding, but they are not the notion of embedding. Here is a small overview, statistical overview, how SSH in Horizon 2020 in the different work programs is integrated, and you see with the picture that in different challenges they are from the percentage very differently integrated. In challenge 5, the integration is not yet high, so we can do a lot more, and that's why I think I was invited. Thanks for that. And that's why we're discussing how we could integrate it. I wanted to show, before I start with raw materials, I wanted to show you some examples with the LET program, which is the Industrial Leadership Program, and what could be thought, what could be integrated thoughts. Integrated can be issues like user behavior and acceptance, management and governance, risk assessment and management, development and of business models. And the aim, especially in the industrial leadership, is competitiveness, but for competitiveness you should not attach SSH behind, you know. That would be a sort of, this is not embedding social sciences, attaching SSH behind. I think for everyone here it might be clear that what is not needed is technology acceptance, research. This is not embedding SSH. What is needed is to think from the beginning on what could be societal needs, yeah, and how could it be integrated in business models, for instance, and how could be civil society organizations or citizens by platforms, ICT-based platforms integrated from the beginning on. You have nowadays no problems to manage that technically, so this can be done from the beginning on and not as a study afterwards. We introduce a technology and then we think about what could be the consequences. Okay, examples. In ICT, we have the question of human-computer interaction, especially in fields like Internet of the Futures, or we have also this kind of issues about content technologies and information management. How should be new technologies developed so that they can be accessed and used by everyone, and how has the management to be so that these kind of things are not only accepted but used from the beginning on. The same question, nanotechnologies. Everyone knows it can be, it can have health effects or societal impacts. What are the social needs? And this is also what is needed in this program, to think about the the risks and the risk assessment tools about this question and about this field. The same thing is the development of social dimension of nanotechnologies. What should be thought about human needs when introducing nanotechnologies? What should be the regulatory framework? What could be communication strategies, risk communication strategies, community involvement? How should they be involved in, for instance, fields of work, of everyday life, etc. Advanced materials, we have the same things in advanced materials and biotechnologies. I don't want to deepen that now. And I would like to come to raw materials. As Katrin told before, with this call, new technologies, environmentally sensitive technologies and solutions are searched and are wished. What can be sensitive? The question has to be defined, and the question has to be defined by societal needs. What is sensitive? What is the measure of sensitivity? Do we have a bit of risk, or do we have much of risk, or what can we define as sensitive, environmentally sensitive sound explorations? So here social sciences are within and have to be involved to clear this. The same thing is valid for better recovery of minerals and metals from low-grade and complex ores, industrial and mining wastes, and increased efficiency in terms of better yield and process selectivity. Here too, we need the question, what is socially wished, what are the social needs, and what are the customer needs also, and how could you integrate that in your business model? How should mining be in the future, and what consequences are not wished, what should be excluded? The next one with the policy support innovation action is the question of how should new systems be built for relevant processing and refining technologies. It's sure, a question of production, but still, what should employers, how should employers work in this process? That could be one question. And what kind of risks do we want to avoid? The next one, the policy support innovation action, is a typical political scientist question with linking land use planning policies. We are in the field of policy making. Yeah, how should land using be constructed, and how should it be regulated legally and juridically, so that aspects and risks could be avoided and do not affect other questions in society, other problems in society, cause other problems in society. Then the framework to create sustainable EU networks of regions is also a thing of political scientists or political science, where the question is, what kind of conditions do we want in Europe and in our regions, and what kind of social aspects and the question of vulnerability do we want to avoid, what kind of risks do we want to avoid, and how could we improve, by avoiding certain risks, our industrial competitiveness, not only in Europe but also outside of Europe, with new technologies and new procedures. The last one, we want to have a long-term, lasting international network of training centers for professionals. Here we need educational science. How should education, how should curriculum be to teach primary and secondary raw material science? How should these training centers not only be focused on elaborating new business models, but also to generate models which are socially wished, which are user-centered, citizen-centered, without too many risks, and yeah, how could be organized this one. Yeah, I'm already done now with the raw materials. Where do you find us? We have a net for society, a network of European NCPs in socio-economic sciences and humanities. Please do not hesitate here to go on the site. And sure, we have also especially themes about embedding social sciences. I would like to remind on this point that we had in January last year a big embedding conference, and in regard to Horizon 2020, the outcomes, you can have it also on Net for Society. Then the last thing, I don't know how many German interesting institutions are here, but we will we start now a process for call proposal preparations related to SC5, related with SSH and SC5. So the overall aim is to fostering the integration and participation of the SSH community into Challenge 5 projects. So please do not hesitate to contact us. and who can participate: SMEs, industry, NGOs, which are located in Germany. And what will be funded? There will be consortia existing of 2 partners, one with SSH background and one with science, technology, engineering background, who can ask for funding, for national funding. And the consortia will receive in Germany 50,000 euros each for the duration of 6 months for personal travel and proposal preparation workshops. And the deadline for submission is the 31st May 2016. And yeah, if you have if you need further information, here are the links. Yeah, and this is our organization. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Merci beaucoup.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me and thank you for welcoming me. My name is Angelique and I'm going to talk about science within for society. Does any of you have already heard of it? You can. Anybody? Great. So it's good. Oh. So it's good I'm here today. What is science within for society? Science within for society is also called SWAFS. Is a specific program from Horizon 2020 and also a cross-cutting issue, as you told, as well as SSH or gender, etc. What is SWAFS? SWAFS is about building effective cooperation between science and society, recruiting new talent for science, and pairing scientific excellence with social awareness and responsibility. As I told you, SWAFS is a specific program, so it has its own work program with specific goals, but we are in any of the 3 pillars. We are cross-cutting. What is important to know is that science within for society already exists since a lot of years. Since we had Science and Society in FP6 and Science in Society in FP7 and now Science within for Society. Call open in April, so just yesterday, and they are closing in September. Unfortunately, there is nothing regarding raw materials in our work program, but it could. So just to let you know that you should have a look in the next work program, because we already have topic related to health, related to environment, related to ICT in the work program 2016 and 17. So maybe in the next work program there will be course about raw material. As I told you, SWAFS is also a cross-cutting issue. That means that it could be included in any other calls. I would say should, but it's not compulsory. Science within for society is about a concept called responsible research and innovation. Does any of you have already heard about it? 2, yeah. What is responsible research and innovation? I'm not going to go into details about is research and innovation responsible, just the European Commission, for the European Commission, responsible research and innovation imply that societal actors work together during the whole research and innovation process in order to align both the process and its outcomes with the values, needs, and expectations of the society. Well, how to make it clearer? RRI, so Responsible Research and Innovation, is a multi-actor approach. So in a consortium, you can, if you want an RRI project, You can include, of course, research organization, higher education institution, business, SMEs, but also civil society organizations, citizens, scientific culture organizations such as museums, science center, and of course policymakers. How to put it into practice? RI is built on 5 pillars: public engagement, science education, gender, ethics, and open science. For the European Commission, open science is more about open data and open publication, access to publication. And I know already ethics and gender are already to be taken into account in your project, but I will go into more detail for public engagement. What the link with raw material? As I told you, it's a cross-cutting issue. You can include it and take all the different RI pillars into your project. It's not new. Most of the time, projects are RI flagged, but they don't even know. For example, there is the project Cobalt, contributing to building of awareness, learning and transfer of technology and sustainable use of raw material, which was financed by FP7. And the project brings together civil society, research body, public authorities, and industry to stimulate joint debates on sustainable raw material use. So they put together all the different actors in the project. And I guess they didn't know they were RRI, but they include public engagement, and then it could be seen as responsible research and innovation. Other link with raw material is I saw in the work program call for 2017, the call 15B, which is about participatory approach. So it means that this call can be seen as ROI as well. How can we help you? For example, for SWAFs, for the call 15B, I guess, if I'm right, we can help you to find partners, not only French partners, but also European partners, because all SWAFs NCP are in the European network called SysNet. So as any other NCP network, we share partners search. And we can give you personal advice to include RRA dimension in your raw material project. So your contact in French for Science, Wisdom for Society is Didier Michel and me. And in Germany is Randy and Anna, and I'm not able to pronounce their family name.
Randy war nicht rat.
Thank you. Here is also some links you may need if you are looking for further information. So there is the European Commission Science, Wisdom for Society website and the European Commission Responsible Research and Innovation website. And also, if you're good at French, you can look at the Horizon 2020.gouv.fr. There is a part dedicated to SWAFs, and where you can find partner search if you're looking for partners from Europe.